Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Abilene People, the podcast here on Big Country homepage and KTAB Plus app, where we talk to the most interesting people in our city. And I think if you're the vice president of all tourism that comes to Abilene, all the events in Abilene, all that's interesting about our city, I think that's a kind of an interesting person, an interesting job. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing fine, but that was a pretty impactful intro you did there. I wouldn't say
You're not in charge of all of it?
I wouldn't say I'm one of the most interesting people in Abilene, but definitely interesting. My role.
You have an interesting job.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. It's a lot of fun and a lot of good work that we do.
Robert Lopez, you are the vice president of the ACVB, the Abilene Convention and Visitors Bureau. What do you do, and how does that translate into what we see in our city?
Yeah, well, as an organization, what the ACVB does is, kind of the pie in the sky thing is we shape the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that people have about Abilene, and hopes to pique their curiosity and get them interested in visiting our wonderful city.
And is that people that live within a short radius of our city, or all around Texas, or all around the nation?
Well, really our focus is Texas. The data shows us that we are an excellent road trip destination. So we focus a lot on those drive destinations. Odessa and Midland folks come here a lot. Wichita Falls, a lot from the DFW area, Waco, Lubbock. So we're starting to see a lot of those visitors, but we're also starting to see a lot of people from Houston, Austin, San Antonio being interested too.
So what do they do? They just say, hey, we're going to do a staycation, or we're going to do a drive, 1 day, 2 day trip. Abilene's kind of an interesting place, and they might think it's an interesting place because you and the ACVB has shaped the way that they think about our city. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, I think the travel trends that we've seen, in this economy that we live in, people are looking for places where it's a high value, high hospitality community, and that's kind of what Abilene has built a reputation for. But then also we're seeing that people aren't looking at going to these large metroplexes. They're looking for unique, authentic, genuine experiences, and Abilene definitely delivers that.
Yeah. So what's the number one way people stay in our city? Do they get a hotel room? Do they bring an RV? Do you invite them to your place? You open up the ACVB, it's like a bed and breakfast. Where do they stay?
Well, hotel rooms most often. And believe it or not, we have a lot of Airbnbs in Abilene that you might not think about. We have about 400 Airbnb properties in Abilene. But our goal is to make sure that our hotels are successful. We're funded through the hotel occupancy tax. So making sure that they stay at our hotels is paramount.
So I'm just curious if somebody is in Midland, Odessa, Wichita Falls, and they're thinking about coming to Abilene, what exactly have you done to put the welcome sign out for them?
Well, a lot of the times our first objective is to make sure that our advertising and our messaging that we present to these folks, whether it's in a print publication, digital, or social media, is to kind of shape how they view Abilene. Our goal is that when they close their eyes and they try to picture Abilene, we want to make sure that we paint that picture for them. But family-friendly destination, safe destination to visit, easy to navigate around. You don't have to deal with a ton of traffic. It's easy to get from place to place. So really, we're a great destination for young families.
So the Abilene Youth Sports Authority complex out there that's got so much going on inside, and I think they're building ball fields and all. I would assume that's a big deal to you guys.
Oh, they're one of our biggest assets and one of our biggest partners. We do everything we can to make sure that they're successful. When they're successful, that means that we're successful. But youth sports nationwide is one of the fastest growing segments in the tourism industry, but also here locally in Abilene, thanks to the investment that the AYSA folks have made in their existing facilities, but also new facilities, and just high quality people that work there in that organization. And so we love their partnership.
And every June you've got the CAF. It's a big deal.
Absolutely. We're the storybook capital of America. And our colleagues with the Abilene Cultural Affairs Council have done a really good job over the years at making sure that that's a successful event.
Something that I'm a little concerned about, like I think a lot of people that just look at the calendar might be, is every year there's a weekend in May where the three universities have graduation. It's Mother's Day, and there's Western Heritage Classic. And this year, that's all happening, but we also have the stress on available rooms in our hotels and those Airbnbs because of the boom in the data center workforce. What's going to happen?
Yeah, you're right. Every year that weekend is always a challenge for us, but it always ends up working out. This year, it's going to be even more of a challenge. So our message is right away, make sure you book your hotel rooms early. Even if you don't end up making it, book the hotel room. You can always cancel it. Make sure you book early as possible. And make sure it's not just rates, but it's also availability. So get those locked in. And we work closely with the Expo Center to make sure that the people that need to come to make the Western Heritage Classic be an event, the ones that participate in the rodeo and the vendors, we're making sure that we got that message out to them to book early and make sure you secure your rooms.
Robert, when we talk about getting people to come to our city, we're competing with other cities, in that space. I don't know. I'm assuming we compete with San Angelo. We compete with our twins out to the west, or Lubbock. Personally, I can't imagine why anybody would want to go to Lubbock over Abilene, but nonetheless, it's out there. But all kidding aside, who is our competition, and what do we do to say, hey, you really ought to check out Abilene before so-and-so?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a two-part answer to that. The first part is internally as a staff, try to filter out that noise and make sure that our biggest competitors is ourselves. So let's make sure that we're a little bit better every day, that we get better at our jobs every day, that we try new things, and that we grow as a team, and really just focus on the things that we can control, and that's our effort and our output and our creativity. So that's internally. Now, of course, with our stakeholders, when they say, in the industry, we call it our competitive set, right? Who's our competitive set? And but I try not to focus too much on what they're doing, but we always have to keep an eye on it. There's Midland's building a zoo, Odessa's building a sports facility, Waco, if it's not already done, it's almost done, an expo that's similar to what we have here. And so everybody's continued to develop tourism assets similar to what we have. But as long as we continue to do what we do best, and that's promote our facilities, get the right messaging out there to the right people, then we'll be fine. So yeah, a lot of those destinations are direct competition.
You said expo. It kind of reminded me of the West Texas Expo, but that's a county thing. But I would assume the county and the city work hand in hand and get along pretty fabulously, because it's in everybody's interest to have good events that bring people into the city. So there's one thing, and you can maybe say something about that. But then also, what are the other big events that Abilene has, or attractions Abilene has? We talked about Western Heritage Classic and the college graduation weekend. We talked about the CAF. We talked about something else I can't even remember now, but other events. What are those?
Well, first part of your question is about the Expo Center. I view them the same way as I view AYSA. We would not have near as much tourism as we have if not for that Taylor County Expo Center. The number of events that they bring, the quality of the events, and really the type of events that they bring is we've really become the leader in these equestrian competitions, ag-related events, agribusiness. The team over there and the county has really done a great job at, one, upgrading those facilities to make sure that they're second to none in the state, but also the quality of the service and the product that they deliver at the Expo Center. So we work hand in hand with them. We aren't successful if they're not successful. As far as events goes, we got Outlaws and Legends. That's a unique, one-of-a-kind event that we have. And I just heard of a new event. Just met with a gentleman, Extreme Bulldogging, which is a sub-event affiliated with the PRCA Rodeo organization. That's going to be a unique event that's happening at the end of March also. But there's also...
And happening this year?
Happening this year, March 27th through 29th. So if it's where they ride along on the horse and they jump off and they wrestle the
Oh,
steer
yeah,
down.
man, I do it all the time.
Bulldogging,
I can't believe they haven't called me yet.
Yeah, but outside of those larger events, everything the zoo does, from Boo at the Zoo to the Christmas celebration.
And is it true the zoo is our number one tourist attraction in our city?
Yeah, absolutely. And not many cities have zoos, especially cities our size, and then at the quality of the zoo that we have.
And how many? I don't know what put you on the spot. I'm not asking for an exact number, but is it a significant number of people who come to our city? If you have the chance to ask them what brought you here, they say the zoo. We want to come see the zoo.
Well, the zoo isn't the sole driver for an overnight visitor. It's someone who's competing at a youth sports tournament at AYSA or coming to compete at an event at the Expo Center. Then they're like, oh, what else is there to do? And so they go to the zoo, right? And so it's a value add to our tourism. It gives them something to do, and in our world, it's another opportunity for them to leave some tourism dollars here and benefit the community. So yeah, the zoo is the most visited tourism attraction we have.
And I would assume that you guys were huge proponents of the downtown hotel and see that as a win for everybody. And of course, with the stress on our hotel availability, room availability, it's probably a good thing we had that downtown hotel now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary here. And when I was looking at this job opportunity, the project was already underway. And that was one of the biggest drivers for me to say, hey, that downtown hotel is going to really be a catalyst for a lot of things happening in Abilene downtown. Then I got here and I realized that there was already plans for this whole downtown streetscape project, a lot of other projects that were, in the works. And so that was what attracted me to this job opportunity. And it's really come to fruition, everything that we hoped for it.
Yeah. When are we going to see Cypress Street without any kind of construction going on? Is that soon?
Soon, yeah. The end of February. And I was just down there yesterday and witnessed them, planting trees right in front of Monk. So they're making their way south with those trees. So they've only got a few more left. So once that's done, and then they finish the park where the Reporter News used to be, that's going to be great. Once spring hits and things start greening up, we should be ready to rock and roll out there and have some great events.
Well, I was down there the other day and parked right up against, I guess that's probably on 2nd, right up against that construction where the Reporter News used to be. And I wondered, what are they building here? I couldn't remember. And it's a park, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a park. And
when's it going to be done?
Well, we see them working on it every day, and they've been working at a great pace. I was very impressed with how things just progressed down south on Cypress Street.
But you think it's this calendar year?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it's before summer?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think it's.
And what kind of park's it going to be? Just a hangout park, or there's not room for ball fields and that kind of stuff?
No,
right?
It's going to be a place where people can, spend time with their families. There's going to be seating all around the park. There's 2 kind of stage areas where, we can grow our events, art walks down there, kind of incorporating that. Hopefully they can move the farmers market down there and really expand on having events downtown so that we can get people to go downtown and stay there longer.
So you think the farmers market will move down to that park? Is that a possibility?
I remember hearing that way back when, and I really hope so.
I think it should happen, and I think it should have your name on it. This is Robert Lopez's idea. This is the Robert Lopez Farmers Market.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. We want this thing to grow. You know what I mean? No, but
somebody's thinking, wait, that was my idea.
Yeah, no, I heard about that a while back.
That's a great idea. I hadn't heard it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I know that they're going to build the infrastructure there, with outlets, and so there can be power out there.
And you could grab a coffee or a beverage of some kind, go down there and enjoy a little picnic or something with your family. Right?
Yeah, we want people to stay downtown longer, visit some of the new shops that are down there. So there was this little catalyst before when the hotel project was confirmed, and a little excitement. So businesses moved downtown, and then it kind of slowed down while the construction happened. And now that it's starting to come to fruition and the construction's getting finalized and finishing up, you're seeing more interest down there. And I know some of those spots are being leased or bought. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for that, because I truly believe that the health of a city really is determined by the health of its downtown.
I'm wondering if you're privy to the kind of research that would tell us answers to questions like this. What does somebody who's never been to Abilene think about our city? And I don't know, maybe that's too esoteric or too ambiguous, but do you have research on that kind of question?
No, we don't. But when I first got here, again, in March of 2022, we went through this process of I hesitate to say rebranding, but we had to rethink our messaging, because I felt like our messaging really wasn't reflecting who we are as a community and who we are as a destination. And so really did some deep thought into that. And because you can't rebrand a city. A city is what it is. What makes it special, what makes it unique. We just had to pull those things out and really think about what makes Abilene special, what makes it unique, and why should people come here. And so we put a lot of thought into that. So everything that we do with our messaging, whether it's the copy we have on our ads or the images that we use, we make sure that we put that at the forefront every time, to really, let people know like who we are, and I think there, used to be maybe, that it was just dry and tumbleweeds and windy. We're much more than that. And hopefully we can continue to stress that.
So, that old saying, reality is our friend. And sometimes, we don't like our friend reality, because it reminds us of stuff we need to do better. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned your team wanting it to always improve and, up the game. But our city does have some infrastructure challenges, and not just the availability of hotel rooms. I mean, just some simple things that have been neglected for so long. They may be getting better, but it still presents a certain challenge. And I'm thinking specifically of our roads. Some of them are in terrible shape still. I was driving down one of our main boulevards the other day and saw a pothole, and there were 3 mountain climbers down in there, and desperate. They were lost, and I stopped and helped them, get out of the pothole. But I do think that kind of stuff's getting better. But it's still, man, I don't know. Does that present a challenge for you from your chair as you see it?
That's stuff that I think really affects locals more. We don't really hear any of that. It doesn't really affect tourism in a way. That's really kind of like more of a local concern. And I know the city has done steps to address those issues. And I get the feeling that it's top priority for them, and they're going to continue to move, and I think move a little faster.
Yeah, fair enough. Mm-hmm. So what is something that the Convention and Visitors Bureau has done recently that you're particularly proud of, that maybe citizens don't realize or don't think about? What's something you guys have brought to our city, or I don't know, a plan that you have that you're personally really excited about or really proud of?
Well, I think that you touched on it a little bit, that Abilene badly needed a convention hotel, and the city made that happen. We got a convention hotel. We've been able to attract conferences and conventions that would have never considered Abilene if not for having that property. And so I'm very proud of that. And that's stuff that the community really doesn't see, because these visitors will come in, they check into the DoubleTree Downtown Convention Center Hotel, have their meetings there, or a combination of there and at the convention center. And maybe the people who see them are the restaurants and the businesses downtown. And so locals might not always see that, but I'm really proud of the work that we've done in attracting conventions that would have never considered Abilene, that now we're on the map, and we have been able to bring those conventions, thankfully, because we have that Downtown Convention Center Hotel.
Yeah, and because there has been criticism about it. I alluded to that earlier in our conversation when I talked about, now with the occupancy rate being what it is, people, are kind of glad we have that hotel. Are you concerned about a day in the future where all these workers that are building these data centers have left, the demand's not so high, and all of a sudden we've got a lot of empty RV parks and a lot of empty hotel rooms? Do you think about that?
It's always something that I'm always trying to work in two ways, making sure that we're doing everything we need to do now to be successful today, but also making sure that we implement programs and implement things to make sure that we're sustainable, the long-term viability of the organization and Abilene's tourism industry. So I don't think that it's going to seem like it's a drop-off, really we're just going to come back to the median and we're going to normalize and come back to where we've always been. And probably with a little bit more elevated rates, which we probably needed to be anyway, not as high as they are now, but it's going to overall. I think the data center is great for Abilene and for the tourism economy. It's put Abilene on the map. That's for sure. Everybody knows where Abilene, Texas is now, and thankfully, the press hasn't been negative. We've just been hearing about Abilene being a progressive city. I mean, I think about this sometimes where we've got a data center here, and it's not just any old data center. We've got the global leaders in this industry working here in Abilene and making this happen. Then you think about Dias and the B-21 coming online in early 2030, and so we've got the top stealth technology that's going to be right here at Dias, and then the nuclear stuff they're doing at ACU. I mean, these are the three cutting edge technologies here in Abilene. So I think that leadership is going to make sure that we're positioned to make sure that this is something that continues that we can grow off of this and not just let it kind of fizzle out. When I first got here, when I was trying to understand Abilene so we can craft our messaging correctly, obviously the word frontier comes out a lot. Frontier Texas and things like that. It's in our lexicon here, and I love that word because frontier can mean the frontier of the past, but frontier could be the cutting edge of technology, the frontier of science. And it perfectly describes Abilene because it really represents the frontier spirit here in Abilene because we're a city that honors its heritage, but embraces the future. And I saw that with the brand new shiny DoubleTree downtown, but still making sure that we preserve the history and heritage of downtown. You see it in other projects, Heritage Square, repurposing a historic building and making sure that they're true to the heritage of that, but making sure that it has the latest in technology and the latest in exhibits. You see it everywhere. And it's kind of almost like people don't intentionally do it. It's just part of the community and what Abilenians do.
Are you working with or on that Abilene Heritage Square project at all, or do you have inside information for us? When will that be finished?
I don't have any direct involvement with it. We kind of keep our finger on the pulse of that. I believe it's going to be May. May should be complete. But we were able to tour it the other day. And
what's it look like inside?
Well, it's still under the construction phase, but it's going to have some components in there that are going to be extremely unique and special to Abilene for locals to enjoy. I look at it always through a visitor lens, and there's going to be great experiences for families to take their young kids, some hands-on activities, interactive exhibits. It's going to be a great selling point for us for tourists.
Yeah, you mentioned the hands-on stuff, but isn't there also like a theater in there, and there's a library going to be in there and all?
Yeah. The former gymnasium is what I understand is going to lend itself well to events, but then there's also a theater that's in there, and it's going to be great. And the thing is, it's smaller than the Paramount, so it's going to fit a certain niche, and that's something that we possibly could utilize for groups that are coming in to host a general session, do things like that there. But it's going to be great for the community. I'm excited about that project.
All right, cool deal. So as we wind it down, I'll ask you a question I ask a lot of guests, but I think particularly perfectly suited for you is this question, which is, what do you see in the next 5 or 10 or 15 years for our city?
Yeah, well, before this data center boom and all this stuff, I already saw Abilene was on an upward trajectory, whether it was the downtown streetscape project, the expansion plans at the zoo, Heritage Square. Frontier Texas just finished its upgrades and its new exhibits. Abilene was already on this upward trajectory, so I truly felt that we were already on that way to being more successful as a tourism destination. Now this data center thing has thrown in its own set of challenges and has helped put us on the map in a positive way, I believe. The expansion at the airport, that's going to also make it easier for travelers to get here. So I think Abilene is got positive momentum behind it. I'm excited about what the future holds. I love that Abilene is a community that rallies around an idea and supports one another. I think it's a beautiful place to be. Great people that always seem to have Abilene's best intentions in mind.
Well, there you have it, folks. Robert, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you being here with us. And, you brought up so many interesting things. My mind's popping. We need to have you back here in a few months and get an update and see how things are going at that point in time. But they sure seem to be popping for you right now.
Well, for those that have stayed and listened this long, I have one request. Abilene, as I mentioned, is a beautiful community where everyone seems to rally around an idea and come together. And I think that's what truly makes Abilene special. And I have a request. I would like them to rally around this project that we have. We're competing against 10 other Texas cities. It's a Texas Monthly Arca Coca-Cola mural competition. It's called the Star Spangled Texas. And it's going along lines with the 250-year anniversary of the United States. And so we're competing against 10 Texas cities, and you go online and you vote. And I would love for every one of these listeners to go online and vote for this project, vote for Abilene to win this mural competition. So that's my request. Let's rally around this idea. Let's bring a beautiful mural to Abilene, and not just to beautify Abilene, have a great photo op for visitors and locals alike, but just so we can win.
And in conjunction with the Abilene Convention Visitors Bureau, the station, KTAB, KRBC, as well as Big Country Homepage and Telemundo is running a PSA that we created about this mural competition, and we will place it at the end of the podcast, so stick around for 15 extra seconds, and there'll be a QR code that you can scan, takes you right to the voting destination, and you can vote for Abilene to receive the mural.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to give a big shout out to our ace producer, Travis Corrigan, back over there producing for us today. And I want to again thank you, Robert Lopez, for being our guest, the Vice President of the ACVB. And we will see you next time here on Abilene People. I'm your host, Danny Sims. You can always watch Abilene People on the KTAB Plus app and BigCountryHomepage.com. Thank you very much. And here comes that PSA for the mural competition called
Star Spangled Texas.
Star Spangled Texas. See you next time.
Abilene is going head-to-head with other Texas cities for a chance to win a custom mural honoring creativity and community pride. Scan the QR code and vote for Abilene. It's that easy to show Texas what makes Abilene shine.